Hey everybody, welcome back to APM Help Academy. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on Buildium's feature Dropbox Sign. It's one of the features that Buildium has where you can create leases and send them out to tenants to be signed. So at the moment, they don't have the ability to send out management agreements to rental owners. Now that has seemed to be in discussion over time with feature requests from other customers in Buildium. So maybe that's something down the pipeline. But for today, we're just going to go over lease documents. So one of the things I want to do here is I want to create a template because it's going to be much easier for you to send out a lease for signature if you have something already set up. Now, Buildium does give you the ability to just upload a document that already has all the writing you need if you did it outside the software. But again, that process has to be done all manually, filling out tenant names, the address of the property, the rent amount, etc. If you have a template set up, a lot of that stuff gets filled in automatically for you. So that's why it's highly recommended to just set up a template if you plan on using this feature. So the area we're going to go to do this, so where I'm at right now in Buildium is draft leases. So you can ignore these few. These are just some sample stuff right here. I'll touch on that in a little bit. But the way to get here first is go to leasing and then draft leases. And that will bring me right to this page here. What we're going to do next is click on in the top right, e-signature documents. All right. Now, the very first page that shows up here is documents. So what's cool here is, if you send out anything for e-signature, it shows right here, what the status of that is, when it was last changed, the type of document you sent out. So if you want to check on the statuses of any documents you sent out, it will show all on this page right here. So that's pretty nice to just stay up to date with all of your leases. So the area we're going to want to click on to create a template today is the templates tab. But before I touch on that real quick, I'm going to go over some of the other tabs really quick because they actually are pretty important. So the Merge Fields tab, this is really important when setting up a template. And the reason being is because we can set up a lot of custom fields. So Buildium has a lot of automated fields, and you can see the source says Buildium. Anything that says Buildium for source, this is all of your automated fill-ins. So for instance, Buildium can automatically fill in your rent amount. Buildium can automatically fill in the address of the unit, things like that. Now, these fields cannot be edited in any way besides putting in a little description here. Now, you can inactivate some of these, though. So if you feel like you never need the number of bathrooms or something, you could go ahead and just deactivate that so it doesn't show as an option. But that's totally up to you if you want to do that or not. You can see I've already put in some custom fields. So, for instance, I put custom merge test. There's also, I put in pet name, for instance. So this is like a common one I see sometimes. So Buildium doesn't have any fields for pets. And a lot of people do put, things in about pets for tenants. So you could put in custom fields for that to put in your template. And I'll show you how that works a little bit. So if I wanted to create my own custom merge field, it's right here, right in front of you. So I already put in pet name. So for instance, I could put like something like number of pets. A little description if you want to. What type is it? This is going to be a simple text. Now they have other stuff too, like maybe this type of field is a date or an email. Typically though, the most common one you're going to choose is text for the most part. So I can just click create. And there we go. I just created a custom merge field. All right, number of pets. And it will show as custom. But anyways, that's a little something about the merge fields. The next thing I'm going to touch on is the settings. So this is a pretty simple page, and these settings just ask, do you want to automatically share signed documents with recipients? So you can make it so that Buildium automatically shares signed documents with your residents and rent owners. And it's up to you if you automatically want to share those or if you want to manually share those. Most people will turn this on, but it's totally up to you. Event history, you'll see this in a lot of areas of Buildium, but a lot of different types of event types. It's totally related to in your reports to event history in Buildium. So a lot of different types of events, move-ins, move-outs, things like that. All right. You've probably seen this in many areas of Buildium, like I said. All right, but let's go ahead and get started on creating a template. All right, so I'm going to go to the templates area here, and I'm going to go ahead and click create template. Buildium gives you a little introduction, how it works, adding documents, selecting, number of signers, and setting up your template, okay? I'm gonna click Get Started, and right away it wants me to name this template. Now, some people might put like, I don't know, like master lease, something like that. You can name your template whatever you want to. That's kind of helpful here. Next, it's gonna ask you what type of document this is, and this is gonna be a lease, all right? You can see another option is addendum. So if you want to do a different template for an addendum, you can. Now I'm going to upload my template. Something that's very important I want you to keep in mind though, when you're uploading a template, this thing needs to be prepped really well. And what I mean by that is you're going to want a lot of blank areas for the system to fill in. So in areas where you want the rent filled in, the tenant's name filled in, things like that, you're going to want plenty of space and blank spaces for those to be filled in. And I can show a little bit of how that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and select my template. Now this is just something I grabbed off of just a Google, it's just a North Carolina kind of like standard like lease agreement. So I click next after I upload my template, and it's going to ask me to select a number of signers. So basically in this instance, like what's the max amount of signers that you're going to want on this template? Like how many tenants max are you foreseeing that could be on this template? All right. And in this case, you could change this, by the way, at any time. It's not set in stone. But for this, maybe I only, I'm allowing a few tenants at most to be on this type of lease. All right. So that gives me a total of 5 signers. In what order do you want it in? Do you want a staff member to sign first and then tenants, or do you want tenants to sign first, then staff members? I can even add rental owners and co-signers if I want to include those type of people in the lease. For this example, I'm just going to keep it to tenants and staff members. That's pretty standard for the most part. I'm going to click next. And now we can set up our template. So now I have this pulled up, and I'm just going to address the blank spaces because this is really important, right? And you can see in this kind of like template here, there's a pretty good amount of space to put names for tenants, the name of the landlord, the date. You're going to want your template to be set up like this, okay? Now, you probably don't want like a little bracket like this says property address. You're probably just going to want this to be blank, right? Like I could get rid of this, and there's plenty of room to put in an address field for the property part of the lease. I'll go over that in a second though. But again, you cannot change the document in any way. So your document needs to be set up with plenty of spaces in order to fill in these areas, okay? So if you have a problem in this somewhere where you need more space, or you forgot to put in a blank space, you're gonna have to go back and edit that original document, re-upload it to here, okay? Basically think of it as like you're pretty much plopping stuff over the document, if you will, and that's pretty much it. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on like how you go about this. So the tenant name area right here, most people are gonna select, their signers of like, how many tenants they would have here. So first things first, tenant 1. So tenant 1's, we're gonna put full name here, tenant 2, full name, so that way Buildium knows to fill in this area with the tenant names. Now keep in mind, it's not going to show filled in for you with the tenant names when you go to prep a lease. What's going to happen is it's going to fill in the name for the tenant's end. The tenant's going to confirm their name. So notice how it says required field. The tenant basically has to confirm that their name is correct. So their name's not going to populate for you when you go to prep a lease, but it will pop up for the tenant when they go to confirm this. So you're probably wondering, like right here, like there's not enough room. So with the tenant's full name, no matter what font you choose here, what's going to happen is Buildium's going to try to fill in this box as much as it can with the font you chose, but it's going to shrink it if it has to. So if the box is not big enough for the tenant's name, it's going to shrink it down so it fits the box, if that makes sense. So whatever size this box is, it's going to try to fill in the tenant's name as much as it can in this box until it shrinks the font. All right. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. This right here maybe wouldn't be enough room necessarily. I probably would need to make my space a little bigger here. But yeah, this is just an example. So yeah, this is what it would maybe look like if I was putting my template in and want the tenants' names all in this area. All right, so it'd fill in automatically. Now, of course, if I only have 2 tenants on the lease, it's only going to fill in 2 names. Obviously, it's going to ignore these boxes right here. Okay, this is just in case I do have like 4 tenants on a lease. All right. Landlord name. Now, this is a good area to go into now for autofill fields. So these fields are called merge fields in Buildium, and they are fields that are automatically filled in for you. So if I need the landlord's name filled in here, here's what you're going to do anytime you need something automatically filled in. You're going to go and select the signer as sender. All right. Notice how sender only has one option. It's a text box. I'm going to drag in a text box. It defaults to bath, just by the way. That's pretty standard, or whatever's in alphabetical order. So if you deactivated bath, it will go to the next thing, which is bed. So yeah, keep that in mind there. I'm going to drag this box over, give plenty of room to fill in. And over to the right side here, it says what text goes here. I want it to be the rent owner's name. So I could do rent owner full name, rent owner first name, rent owner last name. I'll just do rent owner full name in this case. Now my template knows this field will fill in the rent owner's name every single time. All right, it's going to automatically do that for me. So that's pretty nice there. The date of when this lease agreement's been made, drag in a text box, shrink this down a little bit, go over here. And there should be something here that would say, like, I think they do have something for today's date. Let's see here. But if they don't, I could always make like a, yeah, right here, current date, current month, current year. Yeah, they have a current date right here. So you could do that. Plenty of room for that there. Property address. Drag in a text box here. Autofill field. Now with the address, keep in mind, they have a couple different options. You could do the property address, which this lives, property address line 1, it lives on the property summary page, keep in mind. Or you could do the unit address. Remember, those might be different. So whatever's on that summary page in Buildium, just double check it, because it's going to pull exactly from that, whatever you filled in there. Sometimes I like to do unit address to be safe. So I'll just do the unit address, right? And then it separates out like city, state, and zip code and stuff. So you're going to want to do those separately. So I'll drag in another box. This will be like the unit city, unit state, etc. Right? And that will fill in automatically like the address of the property. So you kind of get the gist of it. You're going to be dragging in a lot of these boxes, right? Because you're going to want to stuff automatically filled in as much as possible. And they have a lot of stuff you're going to need, like pretty standard stuff, right? Lease start date, lease end date. It's all here for you. Now the custom fields, this is different, okay? So now if there's something that you need that Buildium doesn't have, such as what I showed you earlier about pet stuff. So, you know, down here, like let's just pretend there was like a pet like area that I wanted filled out. What I could do is I'll drag in a text box, my custom field right here, pet name. I'm just going to leave it just like that. Now, what's going to happen is when I go to prep a lease for signature, Buildium's going to pop up my custom field. It's going to ask me, what do you want to fill in into this field? And I can fill it in myself. I'll just type in what I need. So you're going to leave it just like this, and Buildium will have you fill it out, but when you're prepping your lease for signature, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. But that's pretty much all you have to do. And then you're just going to fill it out when you prep the lease. The signature stuff is pretty standard. We're going to go back to, like, for instance, tenant one signature. We're going to go ahead and ask for a signature from them right here. Maybe you need an initial as well. So you'll throw in, you know, initials right here. Yeah. And then the date that they signed it, all that stuff is your printed name. Again, you could put in the name one more time, have them confirm it, and fill it out right here. It will fill it out automatically for them, but they got to confirm it basically. So yeah. If you want them to confirm stuff by checking a box, you could throw that in there too if you want to. Like you can make it required that they have to, like, you know, check that off or whatever. So yeah, there's certain things like that you could throw in there. You could even make it optional, right? Like if I wanted to make a checkbox optional, it's possible. So like if you need maybe them to check it off or not check it off, like you could do that too. Not necessarily required. But yeah. And then you can put in their email address of the tenants too, if you want to. It will pull right from whatever data you have under the tenant's name. So yeah, that's a little bit about setting up a template. You're just going to be doing a lot of stuff under this sender field. Like I said, autofill fields, the custom fields, it's all going to come from the sender signer. Okay. If you're wondering what this me now is right here, you probably won't use this that much. But if I wanted something filled out the same way every single time, maybe I would have this in my template. I don't know, like you could just throw something. Just keep in mind, whatever I type in here, it's always going to stay the same. So like if I type in anything in here, like maybe the name of the company, like Sunshine PM. Like if I put this right here, this is not. I cannot edit this when I go to prep for signature. Like it's going to stick in here essentially. So if I go to prep a lease for signature, I cannot change this at all. I can only change it in the template, and that's it. It's kind of just like stuck in here. So keep in mind, if you put this in here, you're not going to be able to change it. All right. So you probably won't use this too much, but and then staff member has the same stuff as like the tenant signers, same exact stuff. All right. With the signature and whatnot, landlord signature, maybe you want a staff member signature in there, right? Something like that. Okay. So yeah, it's a little bit about making the templates. It's pretty straightforward, other than the fact that you probably can notice your lease needs to be prepped really well. Your document outside of Buildium needs to be prepped really well. You need to have plenty of, blank spaces and things like that. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to put in fields that you want filled out. So you need good preparation ahead of time before uploading a document in here. Okay. Might be a little bit of trial and error when you're doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Template. That will save all my changes, and you can go back in and change stuff about your lease at any time. You could even make copies of it and make changes to that copy. Yeah, so that's pretty much how to do it there. But for the sake of this tutorial, moving on, I'm going to go ahead and show what it looks like when I'm going to send something out for signature. Okay. So let's go back to leasing, draft leases. I'm going to go ahead and click add lease. Now keep in mind, this is something from a previous video, but you can add leases from many different areas in Buildium. Like from the applicants page, I can mark them as moved in. I can do it from rentals and rent roll. This can be done from several different areas. Now, if you want to use Buildium's Dropbox sign, you have to choose unsigned every single time. If you choose signed, Buildium's going to assume that the tenant's moving in and they don't need to sign anything. It won't let you use Dropbox sign. Okay, so make sure the unsigned is always the option that you're selecting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and choose my property here. All right, the start date of the lease, so I could say September 1st. Oh, that's something overlapping from a different example. Here, let's do something in the future. October 21st, 2027. And our end date could be, could do something like September 30th, 2028. Okay, you could choose a leasing agent. So this pulls from your staff members here. And then approved applicants, tenants, and co-signers. So on this page here, now if you're using the application feature in Buildium, you're definitely going to want to choose existing tenants or applicants, because so that way it kind of basically your applicant profile is directly linked to the lease. It's helpful to have. So if you do have an applicant that already exists in here, I highly recommend choosing their existing profile. Okay. For this example, I'm just gonna create a tenant from scratch. But if you're not using Buildium's application feature at all, you're probably going to be creating tenants from scratch then all the time. So I'll go ahead and fill this in. You can fill in the phone number field. Again, this stuff's important if you're using merge fields in Buildium, like automatically filled in for a phone number of the tenant, the email of the tenant. So it's important that you fill this stuff out if you need to. For this example, I'm going to put this in right here. The address, this defaults to just the same as the unit address. But if you want a different address on profile for the tenant, you can put you could definitely fill in a different address if you want to. Personal information about the tenant, emergency contact. If you want to fill in this stuff, it's totally optional. Typically, the more information, the better. But add tenant. Now they're in there. Now, I went through these charge stuff in another video, so if you want a good breakdown of what all these charges mean and how to use them, that is in another tutorial video that I did make. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and just fill this stuff out. Next due date, when do I want Buildium to automatically start charging this tenant? Typically, I'd want it to start automatically charging when the lease starts. So 10/1/2027. Now, every situation is different. Just remember, this means when do I want Buildium to automatically start posting full rent charges, okay? Let's just say the rent is $1,800, okay? If I want to split the rent, maybe I want to go ahead and put like something for pet fee. They get charged like a $25 pet fee on top of that, and I want it to show as rent and rent reporting, so I could do that too. Any other additional charges that, you know, are other than rent, could do that too. All right, so that basically takes care of that. All right, save and prepare e-signature. And now it's saying here, Jackson, like, you know, this will be added as an applicant with status of approved. Do you want to continue? Yes. Document name. So you can name the document that you're sending out to the tenant. So, you know, it defaults to just the name of the property. So you could put like, lease, and you could put the name of the tenant maybe if you wanted to, something like that. Whatever you want to name the document that you're sending out to this specific tenant is up to you. Now it wants me to select a template. I go ahead and select that template I made earlier, master lease. You can upload additional documents if you want to. So again, if this is a document where you need stuff filled in, you're going to want spaces then. There needs to be spaces in order to do that. So just make sure you have that done ahead of time if you need something outside of a template for whatever reason. I'm going to click next. Request signatures. It pulls up, you know, who's going to be, you know, signing this lease. I only added one tenant, so of course it's only going to show, you know, only one person here. And then the staff member that's going to be signing it. Click next. Review fields. Now here's the pet name thing I brought up earlier. It's basically asking me to fill this in. What's the pet's name, right? This is one of those custom fields I put in, so it's pretty cool. All your custom fields you put in will show here. It's going to want you to fill it out, okay? So I can go ahead and put that in. And then it wants me to review the stuff it filled in automatically for me. Notice all this stuff I put in earlier in the template. It wants me to review these things. So if you do need to change them, you can do it right here, which is pretty nice. So for whatever reason, if something got entered in incorrectly, you can change it right here. 98% of it though should be on point typically. So yeah. So, you know, if I think everything looks good, I can go ahead and yeah, click next. And now I prepare my document. Might take a little bit to load here. All right. Going back to what I said earlier, remember, I told you guys that this is not going to automatically fill in, and that's by design. So don't panic if this doesn't fill in. It's going to want the tenant. It's going to fill in on the tenant's end when they get the document. They're just going to have to confirm their name. That's all. So this is normal to see this. Okay. And notice how it filled in this other stuff for me automatically, which is pretty cool. And I can still change it if I want to. Even from that review part, I can still change it right here if I need to. And so that's pretty nice. You can change it in 2 different areas if you really need to. So that all looks good there. You know, you just kind of review all this stuff. You can add in more things if you need to as well. So with the Me Now tool, so for whatever reason, if something didn't get filled in, you forgot to put in a box or something, I can drag in a text box and put in whatever I want. You know, I could put in like child 1 or, you know, something like that, you know, yeah. And it would go ahead and put in the document for me. So if I did miss anything, I can always drag in a text box and just type it in. So it's something I can do there. And you just kind of review the document. You kind of just go down the list and just make sure everything looks good. Just carefully read it over. Because once you send it out, you can't make any changes. You're going to have to redo it. So that's why it's good to just carefully scroll through, make sure everything looks good. And if everything does, you can go ahead and just send for signature. All right. And your request has been sent. Processing request. And if I want to check on the status of this somewhere else, yeah, I can do it right here too. But if I, like I said, if I wanted to check on the status, go to draft leases, e-signature documents, and it's right here. It just says awaiting other signatures, right? And there you have it. That's a little bit about, just sending out the lease for signature and all that with Dropbox Sign, creating the template, the process of what it looks like when you're sending it out. I hope that was helpful for you guys. All right, guys, so I sent out my lease for signature, just waiting for the tenant to sign. And as I mentioned, the e-signature status is, within here as well. One thing I wanted to give a heads up on here really quick. So if my signatures have been collected and everything's been fully signed, I just want to give a little heads up on something. So your task is not complete just yet. So if they signed and everything looks good, you're ready to create your lease, if you will, in Buildium, what you're going to want to do is go to the tenant's page, and you're going to see something at the top right here that says activate draft lease. Okay, or it might say execute lease. It might say something a little different. I think with signatures, it usually says something a little different. So it will say something like execute or activate. Okay, what this does is it basically officially moves in the tenant. So that way they show under rentals and rent roll. Okay, because otherwise they won't. So you actually have to go in here and activate it. Okay, or execute it. And what's going to happen? It's going to automatically bring me now to the rent roll. What I was just saying, like the rent roll page, their summary of their lease. Now that's fully done. And here they are, they're in here now, okay? So that's gonna be kind of like your last step, if you will, once you do collect the signatures and everything looks good, all right? But yeah, guys, that's a little bit about the Dropbox Sign feature in Buildium. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to APM Help. And if you need anything, you can always reach out to us at info@apmhelp.com. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching, guys.